All right, guys, it's Andy here, aka She Blinded Me with Refractors. I haven't made a video in a while, so I thought I would make a short video here. We'll call it Sports Card Investing 101. And tonight we're going to talk about a few different cards and whether you should raise, check, or fold. Raise, it means that you're willing to go all in on a card. In this instance, you might even want to buy like multiple copies of these guys and, sit on them for what I would call the long term. As you can see, these are cards that Cousin Eddie would call a beaut. First up, we have Mookie Betts. The card pictured here is a 2014 Bowman Chrome Auto. I'm not really doing like any particular card of these players this time, but this is definitely one that I would, if it's me, this is a card I definitely want, is the Bowman Chrome Prospect Auto. And here's kind of a few of my thoughts on Mookie. I think he's got a great shot at winning the MVP this year. I think the Red Sox have a great chance of winning the World Series. And I would consider Mookie right now to be the second best player in baseball behind Mike Trout. You also have the outstanding fan base of the Boston Red Sox. That always helps with current and future value. And, Mookie is one of the few true five-tool players that we have in the game today. That's one of the things that's kind of been lost with all the home run craze and everything, which he can obviously do that as well. But he just has the total package. For me, Mookie is a definite buy. Next up, we have the Greek Freak, and this is definitely personal preference. This is the card that I would definitely choose. And here's a few of my thoughts on the Greek Freak. I think he has a future MVP in him. I think he probably has multiple future MVPs in him. Basketball is about to start back, and I don't know. I have a feeling that this guy is. I mean, he had a great year last year, and he kind of slowed down towards the end. But I just think that I think he's gonna just blow up and have just like a crazy season. And to me, when I look at all of the really young players that are in the NBA today, like he's one of the guys, and the next guy is another guy too, that just really stand out to me as guys that are really gonna, carry this league as, the older guys like, LeBron kind of like ends his career, and even the some of the other guys, approach their 30s. I think he's gonna be one of I just think he's gonna be huge, guys. I mean, honestly, like I would definitely buy on the Greek Freak. Next up, we have Donovan Mitchell. This is kind of some of my thoughts on Mitchell. I think this is going to be the last chance that you're going to have to get his cards at the prices that they're at right now. I think he's going to be a superstar for many, many years to come. He's another guy like the Greek Freak. I think I see an MVP or two in his future. It's even in a small market like Utah, I think he just, his skill set, he really stands out in today's game. The way the game is played now, I think his game just, I don't know. I really like this guy. Next up, this is the card, like these are the players that I'm going to call a check. What I mean by check is you just kind of, if you're already in on these guys, I would hold just to kind of, see what happens. And once again, these are cards that Cousin Eddie might not consider them a beaut, but they're real nice. Real nice. Patrick Mahomes. a lot of people probably will see his name on this hold list and be like, what? Why wouldn't he be a buy, or why wouldn't he be a sell? Some people would think, oh man, he's playing so well, you got to buy him. Other people would think, well, he can't keep this up, so go ahead and sell. Well, my thoughts are he absolutely looks the part. And the only reason that I would say hold at this point rather than buy or sell is if you got in early on him and got him at really good prices, I just think that he's a guy that if you don't have a lot of risk involved, I think he's a guy that, for me anyway, I would want to hold on for a while because, and that's the thing with some of these younger guys, they could, this could just be a hot streak. We've seen that many times with many different players, but I've watched him play several times so far this season, and he just he's so poised, and he really looks like he gets it, and he definitely has the skill set. His arm strength is just outrageous, and he's able to throw on the move. And this guy, I don't know, like for me, I'm holding on this guy. Like I said here, his prices are high right now, so I don't really know that I would necessarily be buying. But if you're already in, he's just too intriguing. Just the mystery factor here has got me on a hold for Patrick Mahomes. Next up, Russell Westbrook. No doubt future Hall of Famer with room to grow. I kind of put a little joke in here if he ever brings the title home to OKC. Yeah, come on, guys. Who are we kidding? I live here in OKC. This is my favorite player. So this is kind of a homer pick for me on some level. But even from an investment perspective, like I'm holding on to Westbrook, and this is like I actually do own this card right here, and it's just a really tough to find card if you want to get a centered example. For whatever reason, like the color refractors from the '08 Topps Chrome, they're like so much easier to find in great condition than just the base refractor, which is I don't really know what the explanation is behind that, but this Westbrook base refractor, it's only a pop 3 in a PSA 10, so I'm holding on to it because one, he's my favorite player, which that doesn't mean a lot when it comes to when we're talking investing, but I still think this card is a good investment. I think he's going to be one of those players that plays his entire career with one franchise, and to me that's something I think is endearing to collectors today, with so many players hopping around from team to team. I think that's something that people like to see, and that just kind of helps the overall popularity. And he's one of those guys. I think he's going to become more popular as he gets older. He's kind of he's one of those guys. He can kind of rub people the wrong way if he's not on your team. I understand that, and I just love this card. So who are we kidding here? All right, next up we have Matt Ryan. And Matt Ryan, he's a future Hall of Famer in my opinion, and he's what I like to call a stat accumulator. And I think at the end of his career, people are gonna probably look at his numbers and be like, "Man, I didn't realize that he was that good of a player." So I think for me, like he's just one of those guys that if you want to buy somebody that I think is just pretty safe and steady, there's not gonna be a lot of fluctuation. I don't think with Matt Ryan. I think he's gonna slowly go up, but I wouldn't worry too much about losing anything on Matt Ryan. All right, now we're to the folds, and these are it's not this has nothing to do with the player, but it has more to do with like their how can I say it, like their I guess investment potential in the hobby. Then, like I said here, fold. That just means I don't feel like I can. That's what happens. This is like poker talk. So fold. That's what you do when you feel like you're in a hand and you just can't see a way out of it. So you go ahead and fold it and you move on to the next one. This one will probably surprise some people. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And once again, this has nothing to do with Vlad as a player. So if you got in early enough on him when his prices were relatively low, like his stuff was actually never like super cheap, but definitely a lot cheaper than it is now. I would go ahead and cash out now just because I've seen, several guys, especially, and it seems like this is especially true in baseball. More people prospect in baseball, so the hype just gets really crazy. I've seen it with Chris Bryant, seen it with Byron Buxton, Steven Strasburg. I mean, just so many players, and I just think that he would literally have to become the best player in baseball to just sustain the prices that he's currently at. And he's going to be. I think he'll be a great player, but I just don't see that happening. So I just think the hype is just too high right now on Vlad to not sell if you have an opportunity. And here's the last guy, I believe, last guy here, Drew Brees. And once again, it's nothing to do with Drew Brees as a player. Obviously, he's phenomenal. He's about to break Peyton Manning's all-time passing record, probably going to happen this week. So everyone's going to be all hyped up about that. And if you followed the prices on Brees, like his stuff has just been, it's just been unbelievable lately. It's the only thing I can really compare it to was, Tom Brady. Drew Brees, his last Contenders PSA 10 sold at auction for over $24,000. And you could have bought one, I think, in January of this year. I think they were selling for around $6,000, and I believe if you bought it early last year or maybe 2 years ago, you could have got in at probably around $3,000. I can't see this card or any of Breeze's cards just getting that much higher unless he wins another Super Bowl. I just don't see that happening. And like I put at the bottom, maybe I'm just bitter because I wish I would have bought in earlier, but it's just if you got in early, just if this is your thing, like if you like to try to invest in cards and if this is something you like to do, I would cash out now and I would move on to something else. Take your winnings. It's there's a lot. I'm just afraid that you'd be, if for whatever reason something does happen where his cards did go down. You're just leaving a lot of money on the table right now if you don't cash out. That's it happened a little bit with Manning actually. I think Manning stuff will rebound, but it's definitely not as high right now as it was at its peak, and I think that could be the case with Brees right now. I think we're kind of at the peak. Like obviously the bottom's not going to fall out or anything, but I just feel like it would be a good time to sell. Anyways, guys, that's all I have for tonight. So if you guys have any questions or comments, just go ahead and post those, and I'll try to be on the lookout for that stuff and respond as soon as I can. All right, guys, have a great night. Later.